Good morning. I know I haven't been here for a daily reading for a few days. I got really sick. I woke up really sick on Friday, and I'm feeling a lot better now. But it was so bad that I had to reschedule the workshop that we had planned for Saturday. So if you were planning on going to the workshop and you hadn't registered for it yet, that has been rescheduled to this Saturday coming up. You don't have to be there for the live because the replay will also be sent out directly after. A couple of things before we get into the energies. I can't. So first of all, March readings are filling up really, really fast, like faster than I expected them to. And I've only done like 3 signs of the zodiac, or 4 signs of the zodiac for March. Once March is full, I am not going to be doing personal readings for a while. I'm going to take some time off. I will be doing I'll still be offering the birthday readings, but all of the astrology readings, all of the personal readings, all of the one-on-one alignment sessions, I'm taking a break. Much needed and much deserved break, if I might add. So if you want to, and the 30-minute, excuse me, this is going to happen because of the cold that I'm still sort of fighting. The 30-minute readings are also on sale. So if you have been waiting to get a reading and you keep putting it off, don't email me in April and say, do you do personal? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just teasing you guys. I just wanted to let everybody know, like, if you want to do it, don't wait. And that's really the theme of the energy right now is don't wait, don't sleep on your dreams. We're not sleeping on our dreams. The other thing, and I can't believe that I actually have to even say this, and I'm pretty sure that it probably isn't any of you guys, because the people that watch the daily reading are like, you guys are like my crew. So I'm pretty sure, but just for future reference, like Jessalyn, my assistant, she's an amazing person. And it's so funny to me that, like, she's not a child, first of all. She's been through the hard knocks of life. And she's a published author. She has a book on Amazon. She's a reader. She's works with children. She's an amazing person. And so when she is contacting you to schedule, please treat her with the utmost respect. There have been some incidences, like, she's not the help, she's my equal. All right. Like, that's how we're going to treat Jessalyn, my assistant. She's my equal. It's just amazing to me that just because people think they're not connecting with, I can see the emails that go back and forth. Like, people think that I can't see the interaction that's going on back and forth, but it's just amazing to me that some people can be really, really nasty when it's like behind the scenes, when they're not connecting with me directly. They can be really nasty, right? And I'm sort of uncomfortable saying it out loud because I figured, we're all adults here, hopefully. And so, yeah, there's this stigma that we have in this world that just because there's the word assistant there, that they have to be that they are less than. And that's simply not true. In fact, she's the reason why I can keep going. Like, she does my entire schedule for me and is really good at it. So just keep that in mind, that when you're interacting with Jessalyn, you're interacting with me. And she's a fantastic person, and she's really, really smart, and she can read energy. So if you're going to be an asshole, like, even if you don't, like, if you say the words sarcastically while you're typing them to anybody, we can read. I don't know if you guys realize that. It's like, we can feel the sarcasm. We know when you're being sarcastic. We know when you're being rude or like passive aggressive. Like, there's always this passive aggressivity that happens. Anyways, she's fantastic, and she's been working really, really hard for me. So please treat her as you would treat me. All right, so the energies. And I think that I had to say that because right now we're all sort of battling excuse me, we're all sort of battling our own demons right now. I've said it before and I'll say it again that this year, like just in the last 2 months, I feel like I've lived a couple of lives. Like I feel like one life ended in 2019, and there was like this another huge awakening for me. Like these moments of awareness and consciousness are fantastic. But it's also been really difficult. There has been some things that have come up that, you know, are going to be something that I'll be fighting. And it's not, and I know that I'm not the only one that's going through that. I know, and that's why I share my stories with you guys, because I want you to know that I'm not alone. I'm not here to talk about myself. Are you kidding me? I get uncomfortable talking about myself and like, you know, but when spirit calls me to tell you a story, it's because I relate to you guys, and we're all in this together. This is not something that we should be doing alone. So you should know that you're not the only one that is struggling right now. If you are having a hard time pulling yourself sort of like out of the depths of despair, the thing that helps me the most, other than the amazing support system that I have, but the thing that helps me the most when I can't seem to get out of my own way, I think about where I was 10 years ago. And then I think about where I was 5 years ago. And then I think about where I was 2 years ago, and so on, right? And then I think about where I was last year. And I see the growth, and I allow myself to look at all of it in a different perspective, in a different way, and not necessarily, and that way I'm not beating myself up. Now, if your life looks exactly the same as it did 10 years ago, I guarantee you, you've still grown and evolved. But your outside world may look the same while your inner world has grown and evolved. You see what I'm saying? So don't put yourself into a box of what everything needs to look like. Today we have the Sun and Mercury are sextiling Mars and the South Node. So the Sun and Mercury are conjunct. Mars and the South are conjunct in Pisces, and then Mars and the South Node are conjunct in Capricorn. And this is sort of like that Mars and South Node conjunction that's happening. And I'm also going to talk about something that's going on with Venus later on this week, but we're starting to feel the effects of what's going on with Venus later on this week. The Mars and South Node conjuncting is about recognizing your inner warrior and realizing that all of those things that didn't work out and all of the disappointments that we've had in the past, and even those karmic past life disappointments that we were programmed with as we came into this lifetime, can really be made into something that makes us stronger and makes us more joyful and makes us more adept to pushing forward and moving forward and carrying on with the goals and the dreams, right? And the Sun and Mercury in Pisces conjoining, and the moon is still in Pisces too, and it's actually going to be void for half the day before it moves into Aries around noon, or like 1ish. But with the moon in Pisces, it gives us these opportunities to sort of be nostalgic and look at how far we've come and allow ourselves to see that, man, if I can get through all of that, or if I can fight and survive through everything I fought and survived, I can certainly handle so much more that's coming up. That's something that I've really had to come to terms with myself in the last couple weeks. And when you are, or the last week, when you are faced with challenges in your life, instead of allowing yourself to like push down into the depths of despair and, oh my God, everything's so horrible, and oh my God, you know, what am I going to do and how am I going to survive this? Instead of letting and we all have to go through it, right? We all have to go through that process. It's like the stages of being being in denial. And it's like a grieving process, really. Every single time a challenge comes up, or every single time we have a tower moment, or every single time something comes up in our lives that we have to like face head on as a challenge, you have to really ask yourself, remind yourself what you've been through, but you also have to let yourself process those feelings. I have a voice of reason in my life that likes to tell me that I have like this amount of time to wallow, and then I have to get up and keep going, because I'm better than that. I'm better than just wallowing in my self-pity and being defeated. But we all have to get there. We all have to be able to wallow. We all have to be able to process it and feel defeated for a minute. And the reason why we have to do that is because when we pick ourselves back up and we get going, it's just sweeter. And then you can say, damn, I really accomplished that. I really accomplished something. So be your own voice of reason if you don't have one. If you don't have an outside voice of reason, be your own. Write it down and remind yourself on a daily basis just how fucking amazing you are and how far you've come to get to where you are. Now is the time to do that. Later this week, and sort of like in the next week and a half, like this Mercury retrograde, like if it couldn't get any weirder, let's just throw in Venus, and Venus in Aries squaring Pluto and Saturn in Capricorn. I mean, why not, right? So if you're in a relationship, whether you're in a relationship or not, this Venus square Pluto that's coming up later on this week will kind of force you to see the ways that you need to transform how you share your resources, how you spend your money, how you allow yourself to be in relationships. If you're in a troubled relationship right now, this is the make it or break it time. You're either going to survive a hard relationship or it's going to go away for good because it wasn't meant to be. There's no way through this kind of energy, a relationship that is not meant to work for the long run. There's no way in this kind of energy a bad relationship is going to work. I'm just saying. And for you to try and force it, you're literally going to be ripping out your own heart. So not forcing relationships, allowing the energy, allowing yourself to go with the flow, allowing yourself to, and it's starting already, like it, you know, we get, as Venus inches closer to squaring off, it'll be exact on Friday, I think it is. Venus will be square Pluto exact on Friday. And then I don't know the exact date for Saturn. I think it's Monday or Tuesday next week. Anyway, I think it's like a week from now. But as we get closer and closer, that sort of pressure buildup is going to happen. And it doesn't, if you're not in a relationship, it may not have to do with relationships. This could actually bring up wounds from past relationships too. But Venus is also about your finances. Venus is about, she's not just about love. She's about the thing, like the aesthetics of things and the beauty of things. And so pay attention to where it is that you may need to change when it comes to finances and relationships and love this week. Okay, let's look at the cards. I know I've been talking for 14 minutes, and I really appreciate those who like that talk that I do in the beginning. I know for some it's kind of annoying, but I am who I am. I am using the Light Seers Tarot again. Okay, so, and this is exactly what I'm saying. For some of you, me even saying the words, this is a make it or break it week for relationships, if you're in a bad relationship, for some of you, there was a relationship that popped up in your mind, and there's clearly the High Priestess and the Eight of Cups and the Death card. There was a relationship that popped up in your mind and you thought, oh, okay, now's the time. I guess that This is what we're doing now. This is what's happening. And you can't deny it anymore. You know that something has to change. Something has to end. Something has to change. Now, here's the thing is, if you're trying to already make moves in your life to end, to know that you have to like go on your own journey, and you know that there are some things that just have to end. If you're currently making changes in your life, remind yourself that pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and working harder and harder and harder and harder is not going to make the changes happen faster. You have to align. Oh, I love that the star came out right as I was about to say this. You have to align yourself to the changes that are occurring and not hustle yourself into the change. Do you see what I mean when I say that? Like, stop forcing things to your exhaustion. You know, there are so many changes that are happening in my life right now. Really amazing, wonderful, eye-opening, fantastical, like I couldn't even believe wildest dreams changes, and some sort of shitty changes are happening too. And I have to look at both of them in the same perspective, that whatever happens with any of these changes that are happening in my life, it's all going to be for my benefit. And I'm going to align to the change that I want to work for my best and highest good. I'm not going to force, because neither one of them, like, yes, I have a little bit of control in some ways, maybe more so on one end than the other, but I can't control the change, and I can't control how fast it's going to happen. I can't control where it's going to come in. So aligning to it instead of forcing it and trying to hustle through it is going to be your best bet right now. Because first of all, it's already written. And free will is about the detour in life. Like, we can detour all we want over and over and over again. We can say, I'm not ready for that kind of change, so I'm going to go this way instead. And like, when it comes to relationships, you realize there is a certain relationship that you should be in, but you're still very much attracted to a really toxic relationship over here. And allowing yourself to stay attracted to this toxic relationship over here isn't helping you make the change, right? You're trying to force it to work in your favor. Instead, you need to allow it to work in your favor. Stop trying to force it, because you don't necessarily know whether that's going to be good for you or not. And excuse me. Being steady in your being steady and stable in your alignment is going to work to your benefit. That Four of Wands right next to the star, it's like some of you are still trying to figure out where this stability is going to happen again. And again, you know that you need to change something in order to become stable, in order to become a little bit more stable than where you are right now. Right now, like today is working for your benefit today, but it may not be the same thing for tomorrow. You may need to change something in your life so that you can, so life can benefit you more. So life can bring you more stability. Let's see what the High Priestess is. There's definitely something going on that, I'm going to take both of those because, yeah. Okay, here we go. Here it is. There's definitely something going on where some of us are, like, we just inherently know in our guts that we cannot stay where we currently are. In fact, Jesselyn actually said to me the other day, and I think I shared this last week, but she said to me, you're outgrowing your circumstances. You're outgrowing your environment. You're outgrowing where you are. And I was like, if that is not the most on point thing anybody's ever said to me, like lately, that was something I really, really needed to hear. I was like, oh, that's what it is. We are leveling up. We are evolving, but we're outgrowing. And when you when you are outgrowing a circumstance, but you try to make yourself fit into the circumstance, it's the most uncomfortable situation ever, right? The Eight of Swords and the Empress on the High Priestess. Here's the thing. This is what you need to be doing. Let's look at this in a different way. The High Priestess, intuition is what you need to be doing, but what you are doing is the Eight of Swords. The Eight of Swords is a self-imposed imprisonment of your own mind. You're creating situations in your mind that don't even exist. So you have an opportunity right now with the Empress to create the things in your mind that don't exist and tell yourself of ways that you have to conform, or you can use your intuition and let yourself grow naturally and flow with the energy, because that's creation in itself as well. Okay. Let's see what this Eight of Cups is, because some of us are, this reading is going to be so much longer because I talked all of that much in the beginning. Okay. The Hermit and the Sun. Some of you are recognizing that there are specific situations that you have to shut yourself down on in order to heal. You have to walk away from certain situations in order to heal. And if that means the Hermit was actually one of the cards of the day. It was the Hermit and the World. But if you go inward right now, because that's what this retrograde is wanting us to do. Go inward. Look inside. The Sun is the best card you can get in a reading. And so when I tell you that it's time for you to walk away and it's time for you to start listening to that inner voice inside of you, and it's time for you to start evolving because you have outgrown your circumstances, that is going to bring you so much more than you expected. And there's a fear, there's a huge fear. I'm sorry about, like, I was sort of dragging that out for a minute because I'm getting a couple of different stories and scenarios in my head, and I don't want to confuse anybody. So I'm trying to, like, tell Spirit to like, stop giving me situations, stop giving me things. I feel like the other thing is, honestly, there's somebody that is still hanging on to, like somebody who has ghosted them. They're still hanging on to that energy. They're still hanging on to, and I know that that's a situation a lot of people go through, and they're like, but Betsy, you say, I don't know how to let go. I don't know how to let go. I don't know how to let go. It's a process. And the way that you let go is you allow yourself to finally just be like, I can't hold on to that anymore. You thank the energy on a regular basis. Thank you for being in my life and being a part of my healing journey. I no longer have use for you. Say it out loud if you have to. Write it down. Do a ritual where you write it down and then you burn it in a flame, and let the energy go. Let the energy go. Let the energy go. And it's not going to happen overnight. But once you take the first step into saying, because a lot of you think that you need closure. A lot of you think that you need to have the conversation with the person, and you don't. I guarantee you the last conversation that you had with the person had a period at the end of it. But you don't want to see it that way. You feel like there are things that have been unsaid. Here's the thing. Closure is a human condition. What you need is peace. You need that inner peace. And you need to know that every single person that comes into your life for a reason. And they're not necessarily not all of them are supposed to stay. But there is a reason for everybody coming into your life. So allowing yourself to see it in a different perspective and say, thank you for being a part of my healing journey, and releasing that, it's time. Because your intuition is trying to help you create a new life, a new world, a new future. And when you are bogged down by the past, you're bogged down by those emotional things that are still kind of clinging to you, it's very hard to create a new future for that. So death and rebirth. Let's look at what this death card is. Don't ignore what you have to walk away from or what you have to let go of. Don't ignore the fact that you even have to. Ace of Cups. This change and transformation that's happening, so you guys know that the Ace of Cups, I read the Ace of Cups as the self-care card, but it's also about being in a new relationship or resurrecting a relationship. This change that's occurring, once you realize that you have to let go of once was, new things can come in. And but this change that's happening is also making a change within yourself. And you're able to heal, grow, be stable more on the inside than you are on the outside. Once you're more stable on the inside, doesn't matter what's going on the outside. And then the King of Wands on the star. You know, it's really funny that sometimes in your life, everything that you've always wanted is like standing right in front of you, and you don't even realize it sometimes. And I feel like that's what some of us have been going through. I know that I've had some moments like that recently, and it sort of like makes you pause for a moment and realize that it's so true that when it's time, when you're ready, your dreams come true. Because you can have the thing staring at you in the face and you don't even realize it. And then that moment that you do realize it, you're like, oh, wow, I've been blinded. Like I've been like blind this whole time. It's like living in the Two of Swords constantly because you're not seeing everything, right? So the King of Wands on the star, the King of Wands is like, there's sort of this recognition that those dreams that he did wish for are right there. And that the stability is right there. Let's see what the Four of Wands is. Whoa. Okay. So the King of Swords, what's really interesting is the King of Swords actually came out upside down. And I don't really read reversals, but it was very, and the reason why I don't read reversals is because I can feel the energy of the card. But this was very pronounced. So the King of Swords, in reverse, is somebody who is very biting with their words and angry, right? And judgmental. This could either be you or it could be somebody else in your life. Oh, I hate getting a king in reverse. Like, it's not my favorite energy. It's so uncomfortable because the masculine energy, when the masculine energy is angry, like a reversed king, it can almost be violent. And that's a painful energy for me to read. So if you guys are in situations that are not safe, or you are scared for your safety or your life or your kid's safety, and this isn't going to be for everybody, but I feel like I need to say it because it's my obligation to say it. If you are not safe in your home, please reach out. You can reach out to me. I'll help. Please do not stay in a situation where you or your children are not safe. And that can be for men and women. because it's a masculine energy. It's not an actual man or woman that's coming out. It's a masculine energy, and they are hot, red, angry right now. The bottom of the deck is the Ten of Pentacles. Okay. Some of you have actually already left this and are creating the Ten of Pentacles for you. And again, that's not going to be for everyone, but I'm sort of scared by that energy. Like, I want to pick it up and put it away. Some of you are building up your empires right now. And that's what I want you to focus on. And if this is the person that you're healing from, if this King of Swords is the person that you're healing from, I feel like your stability is coming. I feel like there is sort of a renewal that's happening within you. And I want you to focus on that. I want you to focus on your growth and your prosperity and your renewal during this time. All right. Again, if you would like to get a reading with me, those spots, I mean, like Jess and I were talking yesterday, and we're starting to schedule in the last 2 weeks of March. So that's how fast it's happening. And I don't know when I'm going to be opening up personal readings again. So get your spot in. I love you guys. Thanks for being patient with me while I get over this head cold that's now a chest cold. So bye.